Aeroplanes, it's a duck blur. No, I'm not just gonna sing the DuckTales theme song to you, although I was getting ready to get the karaoke track up. But I had a thought, and I'm totally gonna throw some modern mimetic theory at you. So, you've been warned.
Though I know I should be wary, still I venture someplace scary. Ghostly haunting, I turn loose. Beetlejuice! Beetlejuice! Beetlejuice!
Welcome everyone. Hopefully I'm timing that because apparently the way StreamYards is layered and everything, you just say it a little bit before it has. All I know is, as my hair goes into my mouth, that used to be how I kind of used to quote-unquote hack World of Warcraft. It's like, wait a second, there's a specific millisecond time. If I can count this for all my Frostbolts, I could get off an extra 2 or 3 per round. That's how I used to maximize DPS. These things happen. But hyperbolic reality. So when I was speaking with Mr. Thad Roberts, who according to his analysis of the hyperbolic figure 8 knot and its complements seems to have derived the mass, length, charge, temperature, time of 17 elementary particles and the Planck constants, I had named that hyperbolic reality kind of describing the scientific topic of what we're talking about. Why? Because, well, I asked him, he said, just call it whatever you want. So I'm like, even if it wasn't true, it would still actually be accurate because hyperbolic reality. But what am I talking about? I'm talking about this internet stuff and things. And it got me to thinking that if I actually label the potential, or at least as far as I can see it, the closest thing to an actual quote unquote theory of everything that we have, hyperbolic reality, isn't that just the internet in general? Because I had something early. Somebody was asking, is this hate speech? And I'm like, they linked the video and it seemed to be an amalgamation of a couple of different videos that I had seen. So I had seen the other video, or at least listened to it, and they were talking about, like, what is it, quote unquote, like mass psychosis in society and stuff. And I'm like, well, as far as I can tell, that's an opinion. I'm not sure that they're an actual psychologist or anything, and I don't think you're supposed to actually diagnose anybody without actually meeting with them. I don't know. This is just things that I have heard said. I'm not a psychologist, a doctor, or any of those fancy things. I lift things up and put them down, and I'm some dude on the internet. I see you there, lunatic. Welcome, LDG. This is perfectly fine. But then I got to thinking about it, and I'm like, and on the thumbnail, I put the little cat and stuff. What am I referring to? I'm referring to Memes' cat. Technically, I have a lovely little black cat. He could remind me of the cat we had Salem before. That one only had a little stub of a tail. He was apparently supposed to be a purebred Manx or something like that. I don't know. He was great. I like cats. See, it is an actual quote in this video. But what I'm saying is, the whole concept of Schrodinger's cats, like what happens in a particular experiment, it's like, all right, if this particular particle decays or something like that, it's going to trigger a trap. It's going to let out the cyanide gas, and the cat might actually pass on. It's like, all right, I prefer Professor Sean Carroll's version, where it's like, all right, you have sleeping gas. And essentially, a cat's not supposed to be in either an awake or in a sleep state. It's supposed to be one or the other. Pardon me. Strike the first thing, it's the latter. It's not supposed to be in a semi-state. Anybody that's had a cat for long enough, I would argue, I've totally had a cat in both in a sleep and awake state, where they're kind of looking there, it's like, I'm asleep. I'm just saying. But essentially what I'm saying is, at least for the internet, don't you gotta treat everything as if it's serious and ironic at the same time? Basically, whatever is said on this internet stuff and things, depending upon the observer, modern mimetic theory, I see, a person might be completely serious. To another observer, or one of us members of the trolling communities, because remember, we are the lubrication of the internet. We keep stuff and things flowing and sometimes cause a massive fire, because that's what happens with oil-based things. I'm just saying. I'm not a chemist or a firefighter. Again, I'm just some dude with his hair flapping in front of him because I totally need a haircut. It's all right. I haven't had long hair in a while. I'm totally trying to rock the avatar thing here. Yes, welcome, Joe and Wookie. Shout out to my patrons, Joe Franco and Dave M. This broadcast is helped made possible by viewers like you. I totally said that even earlier on Fat Steven Seagal show. All I'm saying is, you kind of got to treat it the same way at the same time. And I think this is where a lot of conflict comes from. Because a lot of times, somebody will post something. It's very important to them for a particular reason. Other folks are like, oh, they're just joking with us. How many times have you had you with different things, like in all the back channels of the internet and stuff, within private groups, discords, this, that, or the other thing? It's like someone said, can you believe what this person did? It's like, well, I actually know that person. And it's like I kind of remember that. I think they were just joking. It's like, well, I thought they were serious. Oh, well, I mean, it's not like all of a sudden you got into a big fight and everything about it, and you obviously need to stick by exactly what you just did, because it's not like Sam Harris says if you get additional information that would kind of like change your viewpoint. It's almost kind of like with like the Wolfram physics model. It's like, all right, you got stuff going here, you got all these crazy hypergraphs and everything. What's it basically saying? It's like, well, very often you end up at the same spot, but depending on where you are in space and time, literally wherever you are, whether you're in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, whether you're in California, whether you're in Las Vegas, I hear it's a wonderfully warm place. No matter where you are, your experience is going to be different. And even if someone else is experiencing and viewing that experience from another place, that experience is going to be different depending on what's going on around you, the folks that are around you, the lights that are beaming down too hot in your face and you're starting to sweat, so you had to put on a little deodorant or antiperspirant, whatever it is now. I don't know. They call it all different things. But I see you there, Lewis. Welcome as well, my friend. But essentially what I'm saying is, I think this explains a lot. I'm just saying that if you view things, and this is very often why people get mad at me, because very often they're like, memes, you talk in riddles. Well, I'm shifting in a scaly form. Can you really blame me? It comes down to, it's like, all right, you're saying something, and depending upon the observer, it may be taken completely differently. It's like, all right, to folks that really happen to be fans of this, it's like, oh yeah, you're totally supporting us. But other folks, it's like, depending on your level of knowledge, it's like, oh, you're totally taking a jab. But you're saying it in a very nice way, so it's like you're being playful about it. There's a line. Where that line is at any given point, I can't say. I ain't that good. I try to kind of stay on the side of a line. I fail. That's why I'm quick to say I'm sorry, because I mess up a lot. That's what I'm saying. It's just, you try to do the best you can. And if you go a little bit over, again, I ain't telling anyone what to do. I'm just giving my personal experience here. This is the thing. And I agree with the boots. I need new boots. They're already starting to fall apart. Actually, my current sneakers, oh my God, there's so many holes in them. I have so many holes in my sock. I need new shoes. It's all right. I need to go to the store. Target apparently doesn't sell shoes anymore. Did they ever? I don't know. But I'm not saying ADD, but
낮에는 따사로운 인간적인 여자 커피 한 잔에 여유를 아는 품격 있는 여자
Parrothead will appreciate that. Thank you, my friend. We'll see you in the temporal future, hopefully. But all I'm saying is, if we take this into account, doesn't this explain a lot? I'm just saying I've had plenty of conversations with folks, and it's like, all right, now I'm not saying you need to. This is why when you wake up and all of a sudden you have like a 52-minute response video to a conversation you had, which happened to me about a year or so ago. It doesn't happen as much now. Where it's like a friend I used to know or something like that. You're like, this is interesting. Now, according to the internet, you're just supposed to get into a big flame war and stuff, because that's usually what we do. Why? Because we can, and it's usually incentivized. But I'm just saying, it's like you could have words with somebody. You could try to be respectful. I mean, only if you want to try to make things better. If you want to make things worse, by all means.
I put the fires out.
You made them worse.
Worse or better?
I try to have chaos control. If I start a fire, I try to be able to put it out, or at least try to have it heat things up to a particular point where things might actually be useful in some way. This is, socks are very important. This is the thing. Even my mom at one point was like, listen, I could tell, like, as soon as you got those socks, you seemed so excited. It's like, I could tell you use a pair. At least in this case, mom seems to know best. Again, just my personal opinion. But that's all I really got. Just when you're cruising on this internet stuff and things, you can be as outraged as you want, because it's also incentivized. But the problem is, if we're always outraged at seemingly many things, when there's really something to be outraged about, are we going to kind of feel like it's almost cried wolf? We've run out of rage, where it's like, this is actually really important. Maybe we should focus on this because we've spread ourselves thin. Just putting that out there again. Just my 2 cents, just my opinion. So, hey, peace out, everybody. Be safe. Thank you all for watching. And no matter what happens, come on and get your log. Everyone needs a log. Come on and get your log. Everyone needs a log. Log from Blammo. Peace out, everybody. Love you.
Have you guys checked out the Memes of Destruction's channel? He's an interesting dude. I like him.